Hello everyone, it's been a little bit since I've been able to do a vlog. Here I am. I'm going to focus the first part of this vlog talking about sort of how things are going for me on the professional front and answer a lot of the questions that I've received from people before in the comments or elsewhere in the past couple months since I left Yahoo. And then the second half of this vlog, I'm going to be talking about the second half of this video, just what's been going on in my life and all that kind of stuff, because I think more people are interested in the professional stuff, less people are interested in the life updates, so we'll save those for later. The first thing that I want to talk about is Patreon, because I've actually received, look, when I left Yahoo, I didn't know what was going to happen, if I was going to get a job right away, if I was going to go work for someone else, what the deal was. And so I didn't want to start a Patreon despite the fact that a lot of people suggested it. And I'm still very, very iffy about Patreon because I have yet to see, besides maybe one, which was a very specific show that Thorin and Richard Lewis created, a successful Patreon in esports. It's my opinion that fans don't really care about supporting Patreons in the esports space, whatever. That being said, there's been a lot of requests from viewers who watch my content to have Patreon. They'd rather use that than like the support page that I link in the comments and is on this thing. They'd like to have some sort of monthly way of helping to support me. So I am cautiously creating a Patreon. I'm doing it very simple. I'm not going to put anything behind a Patreon paywall. I am not doing special rewards or bonuses for people that reach a certain tier. I'm not committing to anything just because, again, you end up in this world sometimes where you have a Patreon that's like 150, 250 bucks. You've promised to do all this stuff for people. You end up in this situation where you're working for less than minimum wage. It's not good. So I just want to be honest with everybody. I've made this Patreon for the people that have asked for it. It is patreon.com/Travis Gafford. If you want to support me there, that's great. I'm skeptical, but if you don't want to use Patreon, you can continue to support me just by subbing to my Twitch channel or using the direct support link, the travisgafford.com/support link, and all that stuff. So if you do want to go to Patreon, let me go ahead and pull this up so that people can see, because I'm sure people would like to know what it looks like before they even go there, because that's the kind of digital age that we live in. And it's almost unloading onto the screen, and here we go. So yeah, this is the Patreon. I've got a little bit of a blurb there. Right now, we don't have anything, and the first goal is 5.5 fucking K, because then I'd be living the H2K salary life. So there you go. That's what's up. Patreon is now a live thing. Next up, I want to answer a question that I get a lot in a bunch of different comments, which is, why won't Riot hire this guy? Or whatever. Why, Travis, you should go apply for work at Riot. I get this. This is probably the number one question I get. A while ago, some of you might remember a couple years ago, I did a video basically talking about why it's okay to not work at Riot, why, while I recommend people there, it's not a path that I'm interested in taking myself. I'd recommend you go watch that. A lot of stuff there if you wanna know. I like Riot a lot, but I feel like right now I can just do a lot of content that I can't do at Riot if I was there. A great example is that Immortals video that I did during Worlds, where I was kind of speculating on why Immortals might not have made it into the NALCS next year. That's just content I'm not going to be able to put out when I'm at Riot. And I also really like the idea that I can just, like, at any given point in time, turn on a camera, record something, and then post it to YouTube. It's just very, very different, I think, working there. And I can do a lot more for the esports industry and for League of Legends outside of Riot than I can do in. So that's why that's the case. I think Riot likes me. I like Riot. I recommend people go work there. It's a great place to work. But it's not something that I'm currently looking to pursue myself. And I'm sure that, I have a pretty good relationship with those guys. No one should be faulting them for not hiring me. I think in a world where I wanted to pursue that path, there'd certainly be a pretty good chance that I could talk to some folks over there and, see what opportunities exist. But for the time being, trying to remain independent. What else? What do we got here? Oh yes, so some people saw that I had a sponsor for Worlds and did a little deal with Omen by HP for BlizzCon. So thank you to both those guys or both those companies for working with me. It's very much appreciated. I think and I also want to thank the audience, by the way, the viewers. I know that it can be kind of annoying whenever people are messaging, an advertisement or a sponsor or something. I try to do it in a really respectful way so that people didn't feel like the content was getting messed with at all. And I was still a little nervous, but it seems like the audience really appreciated the sponsors, and that no one was really complaining or feeling like I was selling out or anything like that. And I think, first off, that's great. Thank you guys so much, because I think that's a good testament to sort of the value that my content can bring to a sponsor. Is that not only will the viewers not complain about the content or the advertisement in it, but they will also support the sponsor. So that's great. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit more of an understanding of why I do this stuff and sort of what some of the financials are here. So they're not great. We've talked very, very openly before about ad block rate, and actually just today, the 9th of November, Thursday, just in case this doesn't go out today, a video went live with me and Thorin and a couple of the other guys in the esports media industry, talking about some of the monetization challenges. So the whole point I'm trying to make here is it's pretty impossible to make money just by posting stuff to YouTube and sort of doing my thing. I really need to find external partners or consulting work, or have fans support me through Patreon or wherever else for me to really make a go at being independent. And I think, well, here, we'll dive into the YouTube stuff first. So just to give a little bit of context on YouTube, the ad block rates are really bad. They are so bad, for instance, that about a quarter of my revenue from YouTube comes from YouTube Red. That is crazy. From talking to other people, outside of esports, think about the small percentage of the audience that has YouTube Red. A lot of you probably watching this don't even know what it is, and that is still enough to become a quarter of my revenue. So you can kind of tell how few ads are getting seen by people on YouTube. And don't worry about turning ad block off. It's not really significant, even if a couple percentage of people turned ad block off on my channel, which about as most as I could expect. It wouldn't really increase my income in a meaningful way. And then the other issue that's happening with YouTube right now is, let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So there was a big scandal a couple months ago about ads being served on really sketchy YouTube videos. So in response to this, YouTube has done this thing where they are using an automated system to scan for content that might not be suitable for advertisers. The problem is that this thing has become notoriously terrible at flagging the wrong stuff. So, and doing it in a very sporadic way. So several of these videos went live after being uploaded privately for a while. And while they were uploaded privately, they never got noticed by the scanning system. Then hours after they'd gone live, they were noticed, and advertisement basically got turned off on them. I never get alerted when this happens, and I have to constantly find, just scan to see if that's happening, and then request a review. Well, the review comes in, and oftentimes it's like 24 hours or something, long after the video has already seen most of its views. So what I'm getting at is that even on the YouTube side, there's not a significant amount of income here. So I am relying on third-party people, and that's maybe gets us to the next thing, which is, what do I want to do with my life from a professional standpoint? And look, a couple of months ago, if you had asked me if I was going to stay independent, I would have said, no, probably not. Now I would say there's a 50-50 chance. I'm excited and encouraged by the partnership I had with Mobalytics. I'm excited and encouraged with the partnership that I had with Omen, and I hope that more of the stuff will continue. The problem is that now there's not much going on for the next 2 months. There's All-Stars, which is about 4 days long. So it's kind of hard for me to make any money over the next 2 months. And a lot of people have been asking me, how am I doing this? Well, besides obviously a couple things here and there, I also have just some money left from Yahoo, so I've been able to kind of just take my time to explore my options and decide if I want to be independent and still create content. And so I have probably until the end of January or until February or so before I really need to find something full time if I haven't made this thing work. Not to go too much into my personal finances, but that's sort of in my mind where I'm looking at. And I think more and more I'm swinging to the idea of being kind of an independent person who creates content, has specific partners, can do some sort of white label production stuff behind the scenes. White label production, for those that don't know, being like, agencies or sponsors or whoever can hire me out and I will help them create content. Not always on camera, because at Yahoo that was a lot of what I did. So maybe this can work. Maybe. But I'm not sure. And so I'm going to make a run for it because, I've gotten there are some opportunities out there. Some teams have reached out to me to work for them. Other people have reached out to me. Almost all these jobs would require me leaving doing the content that I like doing and that supposedly a lot of you like watching. So I don't want to give up on this yet. And I'm going to keep trying. We're going to give it a couple months. We're going to see how much I can weather the storm. Maybe the Patreon will suddenly bloom up and be surprising, but I think people don't understand how much money it costs to do all that stuff because I have to pay like a producer. When I go to China, the two of us have hotel rooms and I need to feed him and I need to pay for his airplane ticket, etc. That's why Mobilix was able to help me out. So, even in a world where my Patreon is suddenly making 5, 6, 7 grand a month, which is significant, very, very significant, in a lot of cases, that stuff would be going directly to just covering the costs of going to something like NALCS spring and summer finals, etc. So that's where we're at. I'm going to make a play at being independent while still talking to other people and looking for other cool opportunities. And I have some conversations still going on right now, so can't make any promises that I will stay independent, but I really want to keep creating this content for you guys, and hopefully we can figure out how to do that together. You, me, and potential partners. So if anybody wants to sponsor my content, please let me know, because I'm happy to do that and can do some cool stuff, I think, for it. Finally, let's talk a little bit about my personal life. I was in China for 4 weeks, which is difficult when you don't have maybe the best internet and it's hard to find food that you want, etc. But thankfully, was able to do this nice kind of cute thing where I, instead of going straight back to Los Angeles, stopped in Maui for 2 nights using airline miles that I had. So was able to do that on the cheap. And then I am being flown out to Europe on Saturday for the Esports Awards. And I told them to book me out, a couple extra days as well in Europe because I don't have a job right now. So I could just, if I'm going to go to Europe, better to spend a week there than just do a 48-hour turnaround and find, again, like some cheap Airbnb options and maybe like a train ride or something like that I can do just to kind of take advantage of my free time while also not blowing a ton of money while I figure out what's next in my life. So that's what's going on with me. Really want to thank all of you for the support that you've given me over the past several months. I did not expect to continue to be independent or unemployed, I guess, almost 5 months since we announced Yahoo Esports shutting down, I think it's been. It's kind of crazy to me that I'm still here. And again, like, there are some cool opportunities out there for me. If I need them, nobody needs to be worrying about me, but I think the question is, can I continue to do content independently? Because that might be one of the few options I have for how to continue to do the content that people like. And after Worlds, while I was sitting at Worlds, I was like, man, do I really want to leave all this stuff? I don't know if I do. So I want to keep creating content. Hopefully I can find some more third parties to do that with and maybe some consulting opportunities or whatever. And this has been my update. Thanks for watching. Some more cool content coming. Really enjoyed the stuff we did at BlizzCon. And hopefully you guys will be seeing some cool interviews in the next week or so. Thanks for watching.